So we are live. I'm going to give it about 15, 20 seconds to kind of connect completely, build a little bit, and see if people jump on, maybe even closer to 30, 45 seconds, and then go from there. Okay, so there were two events that happened the last 2 days. As you guys know, I already covered the blatant lies that were put out by Shield Wall Chicago media channel, and they won't expose themselves here because if they know they expose themselves here, they're going to, hi Linda, they know I'm going to probably block them from the page so they can't get any additional information on me. So I don't typically like to do that, even when I know somebody is causing problems. I kind of leave them alone until they really cause a lot of problems, but they've kind of went too far. Yesterday was a kind of memorial in Homan Square, which is a bad area in Chicago. I mean, it's really, really bad. I think it's like the #1 homicide rate in the state of Illinois, which Illinois has more homicides than pretty much any other state, if not the most homicides. And we had a bunch of like Republican speakers, state Senate representatives, potential state's attorneys and mayor, governor, and stuff. All this stuff show up, and the media showed up. I think it was like CBS showed up, or Channel 5 News showed up. They were there. They had their big old van parked by the road, and people were so scared to show up for this event, even though there was a lot of people that were supposed to show up. They just didn't show up. They were too scared because it's a really bad area. And we got about probably 45 minutes into the event, and all of a sudden I hear like police officers were all over the place already. There was probably a good 75 police officers on the road where we were at. But then all of a sudden I started hearing like plastic, like people running and plastic banging on top of plastic, and there was their helmets and stuff and their riot gear that they were bringing out. And I heard noise coming from down the street, so I kind of walk out to the road and I see these Antifa idiots coming down the street, banging on their drums and everything else and blowing their trumpet, which they all suck at playing anyway. They're just there to make noise. That's what they're there for. And then they come down the road with this like big 10-foot flag, and I think it's like 10 or 12 foot. It says like APOC or something like that on it. And they stand in the middle of the road. A couple people have like pig coverings on as like headgear, and they all got their face covered up so you can't see any of them. Some of them were acting like complete idiots out there. They would stand in a circle and bang and make noise and stuff like that, and scream obscenities across the police officers. And then there were some words exchanged back and forth between the people that were there to support. The whole thing was like a memorial for a police commander that committed suicide in broad daylight at the police station. A lot of police officers are under a lot of stress right now, and they don't even feel like they have support. And a lot of the state's attorney stuff, especially Kim Foxx, she doesn't support them. Mayor Lightfoot, she treats them like complete dog shit. And it's just there's so many restraints right now with them that they arrest people for doing crimes, like serious crimes, and then they're right back out. They don't stay in jail. So it's like, why am I even doing this job? If you're not going to prosecute these people for trafficking drugs and children and raping and murdering and stuff like that, then why are they on the street? Why do you let them? We put them in, you let them out, and they just keep doing the same thing over and over again. They know they can get away with it, so that's what they do. They're screaming Black Lives Matter, but it's kind of ironic because when you look in the crowd, there's not a single black person out there with them that's saying any of that stuff. It was literally every single person that was out there was all white people, and they're being completely obnoxious. There's 2 Hispanic guys, but the rest of them were all white. And there was only like 15 of them, 15, maybe 20. I think it was more like 15 because it didn't even look like 20 people. And then one guy's walking around the crowd with like a stick in his hand, and he's got a noose tied from it. And then he's got this cardboard human, cartoony type figure made out of boxes, and it says CPD, and they're hanging from a rope. And this dude's going around to the police. And by this time, there's probably 100 25 police officers out there, and he's taking this thing and he's swinging it in their face and just barely stopping it in front of their face, just trying to antagonize them and stuff. This is the type of people we're dealing with. Completely scumbag pieces of shit, to be honest with you. That's what these people are. They don't care about anything. They want anarchy. That's what they want. They want people to fight. They want to fight it out. They don't want any police in the community at all. They want to be able to take care of their problems themselves. But what they don't understand is, without people being in the community, people like me that know I have to defend myself, the first time you feel that I feel like my life is threatened, I'm just going to shoot your ass. That's just how it is. If you try to start shit with me and there's no police to protect you, and I'm a legal firearm carrier, I'm in fear for my life, I'm just going to be done with you right away. At least the police have some kind of resolve to bring you in and stuff like that. Me as a citizen, a legal firearms owner that's not a police officer, I don't have an obligation to do, practice some kind of restraint and stuff like they do. So they don't want police and stuff like that, but what they don't realize is they're going to be in more harm if they don't have police. The police aren't necessarily here to protect us from them. They're here to protect them from us. Or they're here to represent the laws. They're supposed to protect the communities and stuff like that. But when it all comes down to it, there's so many of us and so little of them. They're more here for protecting them and not us, because a lot of the patriots, the Americans, the people that support this country and unity and stuff like that, see them as a threat. And if they show up at one of our events and they create some kind of chaotic environment, there's a lot of us that are legal firearm carriers. And if they want to come in and scream in our face and jump on us and try to fight us and stuff like that, we're not going to fight. You're just going to get shot. I'm in fear for my life. I've seen so many Antifa people like shank people and stuff like that, hurt them badly, throw stuff at them, bust their head open, stuff like that. That's what they do. And if I have to deal with you, I'm not going to be as nice to you as the cops are. That's why they're there. That's why the cops show up. It's not because we're really worried about you. It's because you need to be worried about us. There's so many more of us than there are of you, and it just wouldn't be a fair fight at all. So they show up, and they get in their little circle, they're banging on their stuff in the middle of, all these police officers that are just feet away from them, literally. And they make a circle, and somebody goes in the center of the circle, and they have like a duffel bag, and they drag this duffel bag out, and they open it up, and they pull an American flag out that's got the thin blue line through it. It's the blue flag. And somebody's hurrying up trying to light it and set it on fire in the middle of the street. Well, these police officers see what's going on immediately, and they rush in, reach in there, grab the flag, yank it out, and then just mow these guys down just like they were nothing. Because literally these Antifa guys, they don't look like anything. They look like these little skinny 120, 130-pound vegans, and they have no body mass, no body weight to them at all. They look severely malnourished. You can tell there's very little fighting skill at all. If they ever had to use just their hands only, they would be completely destroyed. They don't have that ability or skill, and they're typically very feminine looking. They're typically they have very, very small bodies and stuff like that, so they have to use weapons to fight. And they look like a bunch of underfed vegans. They look worse than vegans. And these people that showed up, they were just terrible. I mean, I'm talking about greasy hair, dirty clothes. They just look like complete trash. The police broke everything up, took the flag out, told them that they can't be doing stuff like that because there's so many people so close. It's not even right to do anyway. So, it was an immediate reaction to what they were trying to do. And they were trying to burn this flag in the middle of the road, which is a complete disgrace. But again, they don't care about that. They don't care about American history. They don't care about America. They don't care about the people here. They have a chaotic, Marxist, radical type message, and they live by a specific ideology, and that's what they want everybody else to do. Your reasoning is not okay with them. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They want it to be a society of people fending and doing for themselves with no control, no police, no nothing. But they don't realize that by doing that, they won't make it very long, because you're not going to run the streets and do whatever you want like you do now. And the sad part is 99.9% of the people at all these events that I go to, at every one of these that I show up with, they're not really African American people. There's a few Hispanic people here and there, but the majority of what you see are young, teenage Caucasian kids that literally have never done anything for themselves. They've never had to work manual labor. They've never really had to pay bills and stuff like that. They're living in mommy's basement or with somebody. They've never had any kind of real stress and pressure in life. So they typically don't have a lot of friends. They don't fit in society. So when they see something like this to latch onto, that's what they latch onto and they go do it. Um, let's move forward from that. The Homan Square memorial for the commander that committed suicide. Uh, well, here. Uh, so what I did was when the police ran in to grab the flag to stop them from burning it, there was a girl sitting there was a girl sitting right next to me, and she wasn't with us, but I didn't know if she was with them or not. So I didn't have no stress towards her because I really didn't know who she was. She probably just observing everything that was going on to me because she didn't have any kind of like Antifa clothes or anything on. And I'm standing right behind the police officers as they started grabbing and ripping all these guys apart. And there's a girl on her bike right there. And whenever I seen this big giant, like 6'4", big old 250-pound Assyrian guy, he looked like he was like Assyrian or from like the Middle East, but dude was like buffed up, man. He was a CPD officer, and he wasn't taking no crap from these guys. He just took like 2 or 3 steps, just reached in, grabbed the flag, pulled it right out, and when he pulled it right out, he used his other hand and he like moved half the crowd by himself and just spun them all out of the way. And then all the police officers came in and just like mowed them down, knocked them over on the ground and stuff like that to separate them, moved everybody apart, told them, hey, there's going to be no violence and stuff here. Quit and you can continue. Well, I was like, uh, I didn't cover it in the last one. I covering the last one now, and then I'm talking about the one that happened today as well, all in one. So that I'm finishing up yesterday's. And this is the story. This is what happened during that event. People were too scared to show up, so not a lot of people even showed up. Anyway, the girl that's sitting next to me, she hears me say, yeah, yeah. You know, I'm like, back to police, back to police. I'm getting excited because the police are finally doing something about these idiots, right? And I'm standing there chanting them on and stuff like that. Back to police, get these assholes off the street. I'm getting excited. That's just me. I like when the police are able to do their job and get these idiots off the street instead of them just creating chaos, burning flags in the middle of the road and stuff like that, like they were trying to do yesterday. Well, the girl sitting next to me, she says, "Oh, you fucking white racist piece of shit," and all this other stuff. And I looked over at her and I said, "Excuse me?" And she was like, "You're fucking white supremacist Donald Trump supporter." And I said, "Where do you see Trump on my body at all? Where do you see? Are you just assuming because I'm white and I'm a supporter of the police that I'm a Trump supporter?" Because I said, there's a lot of people that are Biden supporters that actually believe in the police and stuff like that. So how do you automatically assume because I'm white, I'm a Trump supporter, and because I back the police, I'm a Trump supporter? Makes no sense, does it? Well, the police officers that were around me started laughing, and uh, the police officers, they were like, one guy was looking at me and he was shaking his head, but he didn't want to interject and say anything. Well, she was like, "Oh yeah, you're this and you're that," calling me all these names and stuff. And I was like, I have a question for you. Is the only time that you actually make commotion and stuff like that is the only time that you actually cause a scene when it has to do with the police? Do you not care about anything else that's going on in the fucking world? Or is it just when the police are involved that's your voice? That's what you want to interject to? And she was like, "It doesn't matter. It's my choice," and all this other stuff. When she's screaming in my face, and I'm trying to be nice to her, talking nice to her, finally, I've never screamed at a woman like this before, but this little dainty, safe space needing, 10th place, first place trophy wanting little bitch, I flipped on her because she was being a complete asshole. So I like kind of postured up or whatever, and I was like, "You're not fucking out here when the African American babies are dying. You're not out here when people are getting murdered in the street. You could give a fuck less when our politicians and stuff are ruining us and destroying us and controlling us. Who the fuck are you to come out here and get in my face and start talking to me about this shit when all you're out here to do is create anarchy? And the only time that you care about anything is when you have to bash the police or talk shit to somebody and you have no talking points at all." Well, she started like tearing up and getting all crazy, like emotional. And I said, "Tell me I'm fucking wrong. Tell me." And I flipped. The police officers were like, "Yeah, yeah, get her." Because it's true. They don't care about anything else that goes on in society. They don't give a shit about anything. So I proved a point. She got all teary-eyed. I'm sure she didn't want me yelling at her like that, but she's, don't yell in somebody else's face and treat them like shit if you don't want to be treated like shit. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. So I fucking flipped, man. I flipped. I gave her the shit that she was dishing out, and she couldn't take it. She got on her bike all teary-eyed. Tears started coming out of the corner of her eyes. She was trying to hold it in, and she jumped on her damn bike and she rode away. And as she was riding away, she turned around like 10 feet away, and she's like, "You're fucking racist," and then got on her bike and kept going. And I'm like, what? These people are ridiculous. They can't talk about life. They've never experienced life. They don't care about anything else other than when it comes to destroying the police. That's all they care about. That's literally all they fucking care about. That's it. They don't want government and they don't want police. They just want to be able to run wild and do their thing. Well, that's not how this shit's going to work. That's not how any of this shit is going to work. It doesn't fucking work that way. I'm sorry. If you don't have the police, you're going to get hurt. When the police show up, maybe they do some bad things sometimes, but if you show up and you do something to me, you have got an issue, because I don't have to abide by the same laws that the police do. So, this girl it made me feel bad. I didn't want her. I was trying to talk to her. I asked her several questions peacefully. I asked her for her views on things, and she was a complete cunt about it. Seriously, she was a fucking cunt about it. And she didn't respect me at all. She didn't respect that I was actually acknowledging her as a person and trying to listen to her views on things. The fact of the matter is, they don't have talking points. They don't have any kind of real answer for the things that are going on. All they want is chaos. No police and no government. That's it. So that was, my one instant yesterday where I actually tried to talk to one of these Antifa people and kind of figure out where their mind was at. But she was completely disrespectful, just like many of them are. They don't care. They'd rather just argue and fight and stuff like that. And I was trying to be. I'm the one in the group that most people say, you know what, maybe Rich should talk about this because he's more sensible when it comes to it. The other people kind of get emotional and stuff, and they get all. I don't. What am I worried about? I'm not worried about any of this stuff. I'm not worried about being demonetized anymore. I really don't give a shit about being demonetized. I really don't. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitter your mama, whatever it is, all of these places can go to hell. It just doesn't really matter to me anymore. I don't make anything off of it anyway. I mean, I do all right compared to other YouTubers at such a small channel, but it doesn't do anything for me. I got a good job where it pays good, so I really don't even need this money. But the fact of the matter is, these people, they were up to nothing. They were up to no good. Just complete mischief the whole entire time at the rally. And I left. The police officers asked me if I needed to be escorted to my vehicle because they were watching me. See, what they did was they put me on the top of Shield Wall Chicago's Antifa page as somebody to be cautious of. And I ain't never hurt nobody in my life. I mean, I've been in some fights, and I've been to war and stuff like that, and I've hurt some people that way, but I've never done anything just out of being spiteful. I've never done anything like that. So it's kind of one of those things where they created a lot of lies about me. They put me on the top of their Antifa page. Now politicians when I showed up at the Homan Square one yesterday, they're like, "Hey, you're that guy that's on top of the Antifa page," and I was like, "Yeah, that's me. I'm supposed to be the Billy Badass that everybody's got to watch out for, but yet I'm never bad to anybody. I always come peaceful and leave peaceful. Until you make me angry and you do some shit to me, then it's different." So nobody ever messes with me at these events, no matter how bad they get. They don't bother me. And today, let's just move forward. Yesterday was the Homan Square one. It was for a police officer that committed suicide. It's unfortunate that this type of stuff happens. Today, we rallied in Naperville, Illinois, and we came together for child trafficking awareness and backing the blue. We showed up at the time we were supposed to show up. There were a couple patriots already there, and it was good. We all brought our signs, our voice. We all kind of congregated out by the street. Children out there, a couple children were out there holding their signs, "We're not for sale." Adults were out there, just some of them come out just for support of the children. Some want to hold a Trump flag or a Q flag, where we go one, we go all. Some people want to hold just an American flag. Some people have another message that, all lives matter, or child lives matter first. Um, you know, People are all welcome to come out there and do it. Even if somebody wanted to stand in our group with a Black Lives Matter sign, I'm not against that. Come peaceful. Come peaceful and don't act like an idiot. You can do that. I'm okay with that. But I'm the guy that's going to get in your ass as soon as you start acting like a fool. You're gone. That's how it is. That's how I work. And that's how people recognize me at my events. When you show up and you show out, I'm going to show you out. And that's how it is. Today, super supportive. Uh, we probably had between 70 and 100 people show up and kind of filter in, filter out. A lot of the people from the community just driving down the road where we were at to show support, honking their horns, holding their flags out the window and stuff. Um, Ain't nobody wearing no masks, not in my group. We ain't about all that dumb shit. Uh, so, there were a couple teenage girls again today, 16, 17 years old, don't know a damn thing about life, that drive by flipping us off. One girl was in a 2008, 2009 Honda Civic. The license plate was Z21 1800. It was a gray Honda Civic. And she just kept driving by, flipping us off, honking her horns, "Fuck you, you racist," this and that, and everything else. Um, so she would go one way and then come back the other way, and then go one way and then come back the other way. And there was a couple police officers driving by, and I was like, I think with these teenage girls that are driving back and forth, that they can barely even see over the damn steering wheel or out the window. Um, there's going to be a problem because they keep getting closer and closer to the people that are standing on the side of the road, or people that are crossing and they're not paying attention. There's been a couple times where they ran through the sign and didn't even stop. So the police officer says, "You know what? We're bike police, but what I want you to do is the next time she goes and does it," and just as he's saying that, she rolls up and almost hits the media reporter that was recording us. And he said, "Go do it now. Run. Go do it now. Go get her plate. Call it in right now and let them know that you have two police officers that just witnessed what happened and that they keep driving by." They can do whatever they want, but if it's a rotating thing where it's a that they're making a harassment event out of it, they don't just go by and say what they have to say and then leave you alone. They keep coming back. And he said that's where but that's where the where you get them at. If they keep doing it, you go report the plate, the color of the car, and then that's when they can get in trouble if it's a constant thing, because we'll send a car down. And I love that those officers got to see what happened. So I called it in immediately. The police were notified. Um, Pretty positive event overall. And then right at the end, we left, and then by the time I got home, one of the other admin in the group had actually sent me a text because he's got friends at the police station, and he said, "Hey, they're going to pick up that girl right now. They figured out where the plate is, where the car is." The other two police officers that were there did confirm that the media guy had to like jump out of the way to stop her from hitting him, and they actually verified and vouched for you guys that they seen it happen. So they're actually going to go pick the girl up right now and notify the parents of what was going on, because a lot of these parents don't know that these kids are out here doing this stupid shit with their vehicles. It's not even the kids' vehicles. And but overall, today was very, very, very positive. People bringing their own signs out, families coming together with their kids and joining us. There was a segment where a girl was walking by and she was screaming, "All kids matter." And I was like, "Yes, that's the case. All children matter." And she was saying also, abolish ICE. And I said, we pull her back and say, "You know what? Don't mess with the group with you screaming and stuff like that," because she started to raise her voice. Let them do their thing, but let's step back over here and let's have a conversation peacefully. So we step back and we're talking, and another lady's talking and answering questions and stuff. And she says, "Look, I worked with the Border Patrol. I'm Hispanic, and I support Trump. I support the Republican Party, and I support backing the blue." Do I like everything that's being done? No, but I can tell you firsthand what my experience is with ICE and Border Patrol. And then before I even do that, I have a question for you. And the girl says, well, what? What's your question for me? She's all pissy face, looked like somebody shit in her cereal. And she says, have you ever worked on the border? Have you ever worked at any of these centers? Have you ever worked with ICE or immigration or any of that stuff? And she says, well, no, I just see what's on social media. And she says, well, that's your problem because social media is going to spin things and do exactly what they want, and you're not actually going to see what's happening. So she went through and she said, I've worked with Border Patrol. I got to see how ICE do their work and stuff like that. They're not bad people. A lot of them don't even want to bring people in, but they have to because they have people over them. If you don't control the amount of people that are coming in, you cannot let the people that have already legally done the paperwork and are ready to come in, because now there's so much of the resources that are taken up by people that are not accounted for, and they're diminishing very fast. Now these people that do legally have their paperwork done and are issued a summons to go ahead and come in, they can't come in because there's resources and stuff that are not available for them. So they prolong it and prolong it and prolong it. So the people that have been vetted and that have done all their homework, and the immigrants that are legal to come in, have to be put on hold because we have this influx in illegal immigrants. And she didn't really understand a lot of that stuff. And there was a lot of the duh points over and over again where she just didn't understand anything that we were talking about. And then she asked her, do you know what a coyote is? And she says, well, yeah, I know what the coyote animal is, the one that looks like a dog. And she was like, I thought you knew about this immigrant stuff. I thought you knew about ICE and everything else. So clearly you have not done your homework. Clearly you do not know what you're talking about because you don't even understand the terms that are used in smuggling, immigration, trafficking, and stuff like that. A coyote is a guy that will take a truck full of people and basically get paid to drive them across the border. And then when he drives them across the border, he'll just park the truck somewhere that's full of people locked up, and he'll take all the money that he got paid, and he'll leave all those people inside that vehicle to die. There's truckfuls of people that get killed from these guys that are smuggling people over just because they don't want to get caught. They'll drop the truck off somewhere and leave everybody inside, and they'll die. So there's more to this whole entire thing than what you think is going on. It's not children that are getting locked in cages and stuff like that, because to be honest with you, the Obama administration is one of the ones that had the biggest influx in these cages, these detainment centers inside the facilities that put these children and stuff in there. And a lot of these children get separated from their families because they don't know who these people are. A lot of these family members and stuff are too sick, too old, have medical problems, are injured, and they'll give their child to somebody to help smuggle them across the border. And when they get here and they get caught and they find out that child does not belong to that guy, they'll separate that child from that man, and then they have to try to figure out what they're going to do with that child. A lot of them will, go to foster homes. A lot of them will be put in some kind of long-term type center that takes care of these children before they can move them back to their families. Some of them end up, we don't know. We don't know where some of them go just because it's such a messy situation that nobody understands exactly everything that happens with these kids because of how screwed up the entire situation is. First of all, the responsibility has to be put on the adult before anything. Obama clearly said in so many interviews that if you come here illegally with a child and you don't expect that child to be separated from you, you are the problem. You're going to get caught. That child is going to get separated. You're going to do time. Then we're going to have to try to figure out what we're going to do with that child. And it's your fault. You are going to get caught, and that child is going to be separated from you. So don't do it. Don't even attempt it. But they do it anyway. They give their children to people they don't even know. People pay people to cross the border and find kids and bring them back here, and they get caught. And when they get caught, the child gets separated. So now you've got a double, triple whammy going on here. First of all, the guy was paid to traffic a child. Second of all, he went and kidnapped a child from Mexico, brought them back, Then he ends up getting caught. He ends up in a detainment center. The child gets separated from somebody he wasn't supposed to be in anyway. And now you're at the mercy of law enforcement and the government trying to figure out what to do with this child. You know, it's scary to think about this stuff, but these are the facts. This is what's going on. Well, this girl, she didn't think about any of that. And every time we gave her something new to go off of, to think about, to see what's going on, why we do need organizations like ICE, she had nothing. She's too young to even understand what's going on in the world, or even she's never even had a full responsibility of paying bills and owning her own home or anything. She's probably 18, 19 years old. She's talking about stuff that she's actually learned and rehearsed over social media, but never had any kind of real life experience with. Then she wanted to bring up Breonna Taylor and all this other stuff. And I was like, you obviously don't understand what's going on with Breonna Taylor. And she's doing, oh, what are you talking about? Breonna Taylor was an innocent black woman that gets shot by cops, and it was an unjust shooting. And I said, no, sister. I said, you clearly don't understand exactly what happened. That was not the case at all. Breonna Taylor, well, she's trying to interrupt me, and I had to stop her. And I said, listen to me respectfully, or you can walk away and we can be done with this conversation. I listen to you, listen to me. Is the biggest problem between you young kids and older people that are experienced in life talking to you is you have no respect. So she got quiet, and I said, there was a warrant issued for a no-knock warrant, or a no-knock entry on her apartment. And she says, well, she went to the wrong place. No, she did not. They went to the right place. They had that address on file as a known location that this man that they were looking for was at times, and they received mail at this home at times. They knew Breonna Taylor had something to do with him. They didn't know that they were broke up or they weren't seeing each other or anything anymore. They don't keep track of their social life and figure out what guy she's with next. The new guy that she was with, his name is Mr. Walker. So the police show up after getting approval from a judge, which if you have a problem with a no-knock warrant, you need to take it up with your politicians and stuff like that and try to get it changed, not with the police officers and hurt them, because it's not going to get changed. You need to start at the judicial level. That's where things get changed. Police officers show up at the house. They didn't have to knock. Even the neighbors and Mr. Walker said, we heard a very, very, very loud bang at the door, and we got scared. So we jumped out of bed. We started putting our clothes on. He said, we, her and me, we, in his interview. We get out of bed. We're putting our clothes and stuff on. All of a sudden, the door gets banged in. These guys, whoever they were, somebody ran in, and he gave no warning. He didn't pick up the cell phone and call 911 and at least put it down so it could record the situation. He just fired. He hit one of the police officers in the leg. They returned fire. They did not know what was on the other side of the wall, the door where he fired through, and she got killed. She didn't know anything about that. She was believing what social media was telling her, that it was just an innocent woman that got killed by the police. No, it was an innocent woman based on the negligence of your boyfriend that was a poor firearms holder or carrier or user that created this situation. If that was me and I was in that situation and I was dating her, I would have been like, hey, stay in the bed, get over there in the corner, stay, let me figure this out. Put some pants or something on, or probably not even put no pants on. I would have walked out there butt ass naked. If you're going to die, you're going to die anyway. And I would have opened the door just a little bit. Hey, identify yourself. This is my home. I got a gun. I'm going to shoot. While dialing 911, put the phone down and let it start recording what's going on so you have some proof, because it records automatically. It doesn't shut off unless your phone's going to die. Dial 911, put the phone down. I'm going to shoot. I'm going to shoot. And then identify, oh, there's the guy right there. Bam, bam. Do whatever you got to do. But by then you would have seen it was a police officer. You don't just blindly shoot through the door not knowing what's on the other side. And he openly admitted to that's what he did. He said it in his interview. I just shot. I got scared. And then all of a sudden I dropped on the ground. They returned fire. She got killed. They arrested me. The guy admitted it. How do you spin that? That was his whole entire story, verbatim. But to her, she listens to what goes on social media, and that was the situation. Well, she got kind of really disgusted about that, and somebody educating her and talking to her about what actually goes on in life, she decided to walk away. Her friend had a doctor's appointment, and her friend in the middle of all this kind of caused the stink, or more towards the beginning of it, saying, I don't want to be recorded, but he's a Hispanic guy. He's becoming very well known. He came out to record my event, but he got fired from NBC for not spinning stories and stuff like that, and CBS fired him. He's not a reporter that will lie and spin things, so they didn't like that, and they fired him. So he went off and actually started his own media company where he actually travels around and shoots media and stuff like that. He's got a home out in Utah. Dude's a good dude. I mean, he's really, really honest, and that's what a lot of these media stations don't like about him. He was sitting there recording that the whole entire time. He actually had some questions to ask her too that kind of stumped her, that she didn't know how to respond to it. And it's unfortunate that a lot of these young kids, they think they know and they have answers for things, but they really don't know shit about shit. They know what social media tells them, and their little shit Antifa group that they hang out with. They know the fist in the air, what it represents, and stuff like that. That's what they know. They don't know a damn thing else about life, and it is what it is. Today was a very positive day. It was a very good rally today. I was thankful for all the people that showed up. We had one of the district reps, the Senate reps, show up. I think District 43. He showed up today to show support to our rally. There was a gentleman that showed up. What is this? There was a gentleman that showed up in like a Porsche or something like that, and he had a full-size Donald Trump mannequin, and he put it on his shoulders, and he walked this suited Donald Trump mannequin down to our rally, and it looked like a real life Donald Trump. It was kind of weird. It was funny, cool, and frightening all at the same time, because it's like, this thing looks just like Donald Trump. You had to pay a ton of money for this thing. So everybody was coming over and taking pictures. There was one other guy that walked by in the middle of it, but I think he was kind of lost. I think he's what we would call more space Star Wars brained or something like that. Dude's brain was kind of fried, and he walked by and he started saying something to one of the admin about all children matter, and I was like, they start arguing back and forth, and I don't even understand what the arguing is about. And I go up and I said, one of the actual people that were walking by stepped up with it. He's got a big old, like, juicy 80-pound pit bull. And he said, you're talking to this lady inappropriately right now. If you want to speak to her, you'll speak to her with respect. You're not going to do all this. And he kind of brought his dog to attention. And the dude got a little, nervous around big old pit bull that was there. And I asked him, I said, what's the problem here? And I'm like the guy that will try to do like the security stuff, because I'm not hesitant. I'll snatch a dude up quick. It doesn't matter to me. And I went over, and this kind of tall guy, but slender, he's standing there. I said, what's the problem here? What's up with all the commotion and stuff over? What's going on? And he says, all kids matter, and this and that. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm kind of confused here. Isn't that what every one of these damn signs say? Isn't that what all of these signs say? Children's lives matter. Back the blue. Support our children. Save our children. We're not for sale. When does it say anything about a specific color on any one of these fucking signs down the road right now, you ignorant fuck? And he's like looking at me like, oh, what are you so angry and stuff? Then he starts getting angry. I said, well, you make no fucking sense right now. What are you after here? What are you trying to prove by screaming in people's faces? Every one of these signs say exactly what you're saying right now. Well, he got all like intimidated and stuff like that and started to walk away, because I was seriously about to lose my cool with this dude, because he was starting an issue, and that's what every one of the signs said that people were holding, like, all children matter. Save our children. There's nothing divisive there. There's nothing segregating there. What his deal was, I don't know. This dude was like kind of Star Wars brained. And as he started to walk away, one of the girls said something about, if you don't support our children or save our children, you're a damn pedophile. And he turns around and he looks, and then he starts shaking his head. This dude was out there. He was, for some reason, a good dude, had his heart in the right place, obviously. But what was he there trying to start problems for? Like, I just don't understand how he didn't. Common sense is a motherfucker. It was right in front of his face. Every single sign there said nothing about white babies or black babies or, yellow babies or whatever, orange babies, Donald Trump babies. It said children. The signs don't say anything other than children. So this dude was obviously there was some shit going on. And after he walked away, somebody came up and said, that's not the only thing that you like. There was some stuff he said before you came over there, and it was about his retirement and you being out here drawing attention to the police. And he's collecting some kind of retirement from being a prior police officer, and with you shedding awareness on backing the police, that could cause a downfall to it at the same time, and then they could take even more money away. So he's worried about losing his pension, social security, whatever, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, so this asshole was just over here for very, very, what would you call it? Very selfish reasons, and didn't actually understand any of what was going on here. So why even argue and fight about it instead of asking questions? He did none of that. So we had a few instances today where, it got a little squirrely, but, it was calm. We had a couple little girls, 17, 18 years old, 16, 17 years old, something like that, little white girls come down the road screaming Black Lives Matter, which is fine. We don't discriminate with that. You come out and say that all you want at one of our rallies. Nobody's going to touch you. Nobody's going to bother you. We support your message. We have a different message than you, but we support your message. And you can stand right in the middle of our crowd and do that. Nobody's going to lay a finger on you. I guarantee that. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I guarantee that nobody's going to touch you. We've already made it very clear that nobody will put their hands on somebody else at one of our rallies, or we will put our hands on them, unless it's just, unless you have to defend yourself. So they come, walking down the street screaming Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. That's fine. Leave them alone. Don't bother them. Let them scream and do whatever they want. They start to cross the street. A couple of our guys, they started to follow them across the street. And I says, hey, 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 get back over here. This is not going to happen. We're not going to follow them and harass them. Back over here. Let's stay on point. We're not here to do that type of stuff. And that it was it. There was just a couple instances where things got a little squirrely, but it was positive. There was a lot of people from the community that were driving by to support us with their flags and stuff out. I'm glad that one of the state senate or the state representatives or possible state representatives came out. There's a couple. The media reporter guy that does his own independent reporting that's pretty big on social media right now. He's covering a lot of the footage from the actual truth. He was just in Chicago yesterday when all the Black Lives Matter protesters showed up in the loop, and about 17 police officers got injured because they didn't want to stay peaceful. Police officers were trying to block the road off and not allow them to go any further, but still allow them to stay in the road, and they didn't like that. So some of them fought back. So I guess they say that stuff was thrown, bikes were thrown at the people. The people attacked the police officers. The police officers defended themselves. It was just a complete shit show from what I seen. It was just a bunch of nonsense for no reason, but that's what it always resorts to. So today was a very positive day. A lot of flags out, a lot of support, a lot of community stuff. A few bad instances where people just clearly did not understand what was going on. And it's never the older people. The older people are pretty, even the people that don't support, what we do as being patriots, they walk by and they'll nod their head and wave at us or something like that, and they'll just keep going. And then you have the young kids, the completely, just the oblivious to what's going on in life idiots that want to cause the issue because they think that's what they're supposed to do. That's what social media tells them that they should be doing. Right when we were leaving at the end, there was this little chubby white kid that showed up, probably 19, 20 years old, and he was holding a sign, and it said, "God bless America, God damn Trump, Biden 2020." And I was like, you know what? At least he's got some balls to stand out here by himself and do this right in front of us. I got to respect the man for that. Plus, he says God bless America, so he obviously likes America. Maybe I go shake his hand and tell him, you know what, keep fighting for what you believe in. So we literally walked across the street and shook his hand and said, right on, brother, do what you got to do, man. If that's what you believe in, you're doing it peacefully here. You're counter protesting. Maybe you're just doing your own protest right there. It's completely fine with us. We respect you. Keep doing what you're doing, fighting for what you believe in, and that's all it's about. And he said, well, you're not mad at me or whatever. He's a young kid. And I said, no, why would I be mad at you? You're a man. I mean, you're doing what a man would do. You're fighting for what you believe in. And if that's it, and it's out here, and that's your voice on that sign right there, and that's what you believe in, I'm all for it. I don't agree with you, but I'm all for it. So it was It was very positive. Today was a very good day. So that was the recap of what happened the last 2 days. We have another event coming up. I'm not going to put that out here because there are specific people that like to watch this page. There was one girl. Let me show you this. Show you this while we're here. There's this little idiot here from the city, or I think she's from the city or whatever. So, if you need plans today, come harass the Blue Lives Matter protesters in downtown Naperville. I mean, completely ridiculous. Little shit kids that obviously have never done anything with their life, and trying to get this camera to focus. And that's what they're about. They're about disrupting, creating chaos. Not other people can't have a voice; they have to have the voice. Well, you're messing with the wrong crowd, and we have a voice, and that's what we're going to do. God bless America. God bless you guys. Uh, you know, it is it's rough out there right now, but we're making an impact. We have more African American supporters than we ever have. We have more Hispanic supporters than we ever have. I was just messaged by the commissioner and media events coordinator for the Filipinos for Trump, Christian Filipinos up northern Illinois, and they said they've been watching a lot of the stuff that we've been doing. They would like to link up with me. Let's get an article in the media about everything that I'm doing with my group. Let's do something together. There are a huge percent of Filipinos that love Trump just for him helping them, and just trying to make the community safe and stuff like that. And a lot of their friends have actually come in here on citizenship that has been expedited through Trump being in office, and a lot of them support him because of that. So they want to get together and do a big event where we bring the community together, the Filipinos, the Caucasian people, African American people, the Hispanic people, just bring them all together. Let's all bring them together in one area and just support a cause that we all believe in. And that's what they want. So that's what we'll be working on next. We're going to be looking at some place up northern Illinois just to kind of get things spun off. The traction's very well right now. There's a lot of African American people that were on Harleys that drove by, and they're all like giving us the thumbs up. They got their flags on the back of their bikes, honking their horns and stuff. There's a lot of like black people driving back and forth in their cars, Hispanic people. There's like Indian people. They're honking their horns, got little flags and stuff on their car and stuff like that. People saying, "Keep it up, don't stop." It's very positive when the community of all colors, this unity of this melting pot, hashtag we melt, this melting pot comes together, and they say, look, at the end of the day, I don't have to believe in everything that you believe in, but I do believe that there's some kind of safety that we got to have with our police officers. There's some kind of awareness that we need to start spreading on child trafficking and child safety and stuff like that, because it's honestly happening right under our nose and we don't even know it. So even if I don't believe in everything that you support, I'm still going to be here to support you for this, and I can come together on this type of stuff. We're all human beings. We're not going to agree on everything. It's not going to happen. We have to understand that we have to coexist even with indifferences, and that's what this is all about. One life doesn't matter more than the next. Not saying Black Lives Matter isn't a bad thing at all. It's what you believe in. I'm not going to go around chanting Black Lives Matter. I'm going to say that we all matter, and that's it. We're all the same. There's no one more superior than the next. We all have the same ability. We just have to pull up our bootstraps, pull up our pants, put them big girl panties and stuff on, and say, look, it's time to grind it out and do something about this, even if you have to work harder than the next. If statistically things have been changing, getting easier and easier and easier, maybe the African American community does have to do a little bit more work, but you can't just flip a switch and make all that go away now. Maybe there is a little bit more work that has to be done, but you see in such a short amount of time since the civil rights movement, in a short amount of time, this has all been changing. And it's completely like neutral now. We have the same opportunities for everybody. Let's look at this 10 years from now and see how much more it's even going to change. It's been turning drastically. So for us to say that, there's any kind of true systemic oppression or anything like that in a society today that's not built on any type of race war or oppression or anything like that, where a job or something gears itself against the specific color, it would be silly. So I don't support any of that. Um, I just support all of us with the same opportunity, and I do agree that we do have a big problem in the lower class communities, the low housing communities, the low cost housing communities, Section 8 housing communities, and stuff like that. These children don't have enough opportunities. We do need to start looking and focusing on that stuff more. That is something we definitely have to do, and it's been neglected for too long. We need to get them better grocery stores, better doctors and stuff in their communities, and start focusing on these types of things, bringing opportunities and stuff in. And when you do that alone, it gives people hope. It gives people something to go to and work towards. And if we can do a better job on that, the most of the stuff that we're dealing with now will stop. The Democratic Party, the Liberal Party, they don't want that. They'd rather see somebody sucking off government assistance and living on the very bottom and not offering any help other than free cell phones and bills paid, but not allowing them to stack some money and put it away in the bank to further themselves and buy a nicer car down the road and have a future, something to plan for. When you rely on the Democratic Party and you live in low income areas, low housing cost areas and stuff like that, and you have government assistance, there's no means to move forward. There's only means to stay on the bottom and continue to stay where you're at. When you look outside the box, you want to move forward. You want to progress in life. You want to make yourself a better person, have money in the bank, that little nest egg that can support your family in case some tragedy happens. But living on the government's dime is not going to allow you to get any further. It's just going to allow you to stay right there on the bottom and never make it anywhere. So all these things need to be addressed, and they're not being addressed. The Democratic Party, the Liberal Party, they don't care about that. It's something that here in Chicago, I'm not speaking about all of them. Here in Chicago, it's something that they don't even focus on. And that's something that we should be. When people start to see I'm not really full-blown Republican, I'm like more middle right than anything. I kind of see a lot of the same views as liberals do, but I also start to see more of the views on the Republican side. So I'm like more middle right. I do acknowledge some of the liberal, talking points and stuff like that. But the people like Pelosi and Biden and Lightfoot and Kimberly Fox, these people are trash, man. They're trash, and I do not support them at all. And at Mayor Lightfoot needs to step down and leave office. She's been here a year and she's done nothing but destroy, and it's not getting better. So, Kimberly Fox is a poison to society. That's how bad she is. Kimberly Fox is a poison to society. She should have never been allowed in any kind of state's attorney position at all. That's it, guys. That's it for today's live. I'm gonna go actually cook some mushrooms up and some steak right now and relax for the evening. Probably just relax. I got a long day tomorrow. I thank y'all. Love you. Be blessed. And we'll be back here soon. If y'all got any ideas on other stuff you want me to cover, I know you're tired of hearing about the political stuff, but this is my life right now. This is what I'm fighting for, and this is what I think is the most important to take care of right now at this moment. And I feel like I'm doing good stuff here. I feel like this is for the right reasons. That I feel like more people in other states should be doing this, and they just don't. They're too scared. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to get a running start. I'll tell you how you get a running start. You start a private group on Facebook. You make it whatever type of group you want. Then you go create a business page. You put your first post up, inviting the community to like your page and what you're about. You take $20 and you put it towards boosting that post around your area. You can put different towns in your state. Facebook has to at that point, because you're not going to put anything malicious in there. You're going to make sure it's nice and clean. You're going to tell people what you're about. You get your name out there, and it's going to probably 2,000 or 3,000 people in your area, or maybe even more, and then they're going to share it, and then other people are going to share it, and it's a compounding effect. That $20 just turned into what was probably $60 or $70 of advertising. So that's your first post out the door. Then you're going to create an event. You're going to work on talking. You're going to practice talking, and then you're going to show up at an event, and say it's going to be December 1st, and you've rented out a Holiday Inn conference room for $200. You may ask your supporters that show up to donate $5 to the cause to help pay for the room. If that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's money that you ate, but it's something that you do. Maybe you stand up in front of people and you talk to them about your experience, your views, and you offer the mic to somebody else, and you build your character, you build your speaking abilities, you build your views with the community and stuff like that. And then you put up your second event. Maybe the first one didn't have to be a Holiday Inn. Maybe it was in a park somewhere that you just wanted to bring the community together and talk. Then you do your second event a couple weeks later, so you don't want them out of your mind, or you don't want to be out of their mind. You want them to think about you. So as soon as you're done with that event, or even the day before that event, you schedule your next event. We're going to be, over here in this town, in this public area, in this park, talking and speaking or whatever. And it's going to be a similar situation. And then all of a sudden they invite more friends because they've seen you're a nice person, you got a good character to you and stuff like that. And you build and build and build and build and build. Then you sponsor that event, throw $20 on it. More and more people start seeing you. It's a progressive process that you work towards, and you get better and better and better at it. So some tips for people out there that may want to start a private group to get people involved, talking, local community people, stuff like that. Start a business page, create a post, sponsor that post, create an event, show up at that event, create a second event, and you keep working it and working it. And then all of a sudden, like me, politicians are recognizing me now, police officers are recognizing me now, Antifa people are recognizing me now. A lot of the patriots that have never seen me before know exactly who I am when they show up now. So it's a process, and you will eventually become known. It could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing, depending on your cause. Okay, that's it. Talk to you all. I'm going to go eat. Love you. Be blessed. Have a great night.